Hey, good afternoon, folks. Steve Schiller here from HeroHeroes.com. Glad to be back. It's been a few days, maybe a week or more, since I've made a post. Going through my notes here from Iraq 2003. This timeline, 17, 18, 19 December of 2003, which was 20 years ago this week. Looking at a lot of my notes and some interesting things here. Number one, kind of the theme for these few days is kind of just how administrative we've become, even though the war has turned for the worse with respect to the insurgents and the insurgency going on, killing a lot more people. We still seem to, as a military, want to turn our sights to being more administrative and counting on things administratively, which at the time, I guess I didn't think much of it. You know, as a leader, you try to put yourself in some parameters for discipline, and it shows some levels of discipline to get back to some of the administrative realities as you try to run an army or a unit. But that's kind of a theme through all these days is you kind of see, even with myself, here I ran on the 17th, I ran 5 miles. I lifted back, shoulders, and buys. Then on the 18th, I ran 3 miles and lifted again. And then on the 19th, I ran 5 miles and did chest and tries. So even as the rest of the unit kind of does some what appears to be more on the administrative army side, I fall prey to that too, even as a leader. You know, you want to get out, you want to stay fit, you got to stay focused. You know, for a guy like me, staying fit is staying focused. So it's just kind of the reality of being in Iraq at the time. A lot of other things going on. We got weather coming in. There's 3 or 4 days worth of weather that we had a hard time flying because of the weather. We shifted our duty days based on some of those weather issues, and you can kind of see where the battalions and BCTs, Brigade Combat Teams, are struggling without the oversight of the CAV and our ability to provide some oversight for them as they have some increased fighting going on in and amongst their respective areas of operation. Super windy, super bad weather. We had to cancel a flight for the assistant division commander. Whole bunch of other kind of small things going on, fight here, fight there. But it's kind of, again, we've talked about a little of this before, where this war and most wars turn into kind of this drudgery of day to day. You get into these cycles of, oh, it's so boring because nothing's going on, and bam, you can turn on in an instant where you start and get hit and striked and whatever, and you can't ever let your guard down. Another theme over these couple of days is you can see that they're talking redeployment. You know, we've been in the country now 9 months, and they're looking at doing only a 12-month tour. So obviously, logistically, there's a lot of things that you have to talk about to redeploy your troops back to the States. And you can see those in these 3 days. Logistically, we're talking about putting certain things on ships and how we're going to prepare for that. As you're fighting a war, you're already talking about how you're logistically going to get yourself home. Another interesting note here is a comment with safety and a big exclamation point. Since you do have a tendency in these combat situations to be over and over begrudgingly boring, and a sense of complacency can come in. And another note here is holiday booze and suicides. So we're coming in on the holiday season, even in the United States, without a war, the increase in suicides is typically heightened. And here we're talking about it as there's been a couple of suicides and the things going on that people don't like. I also have an administrative note here. One of my lieutenants was not doing well, and we're looking about reducing him in rank. And I've got several notes through here about talking about disciplining one of our officers due to his inabilities and incompetency. So, again, that's another administrative note. During the peacetime, you got to do a lot of paperwork like any other administrative work or documentation to be able to hold somebody accountable for what they are or not doing. And this is kind of where we are in the war, is that administrative state, yet you're fighting a war, and it's kind of bizarre a little bit. Got to keep your eye on it, and it was a challenge every day, a challenge that was interesting and definitely learning environment for me. It caused me to grow up pretty quick as a leader. So those are kind of the notes over these 3 days. It's less than a week before Christmas. That's what's kind of going on, and you're wishing psychologically you could be back with your folks, your parents, or your family and your loved ones. And that's kind of where we were. Go to hereourheroes.com, use the code Sabre06, and please sign up. Use this platform as your ability to tell your story to others, your family, or nobody. Just put it down. There's something about telling your story, whether to yourself or not, that's relieving. And psychologically it helps. So thanks all for listening. Steve Schiller here from hereourheroes.com. Have a good day.
Eagle 6, Sabre 6, spot report.